Listen to part of a lecture in an archaeology class. Archaeological sites.
Today, I want to talk to you about wonderful archaeological sites which recently have been opened to tourists and which may eventually be fertile ground for students interested in Roman, Greek, and Byzantine architecture. The sites I am referring to are in Libya and are as large, if not larger, than some locations in Italy and Greece. Along Libya's Mediterranean shores are 5 major archaeological sites. They are Leptis Magna, Cyrene, Sabratha, Apollonia and Ptolemais. Leptis Magna is a magnificent, beautifully preserved ancient city. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is the largest site in Africa, as well as one of the best preserved. This site, like others along the coast, which were covered by sand, have wonderful stories to tell. Archaeological excavation began here in the 1920s and has continued by archaeologists from many nations. Throughout the years of excavations in Libya, the British archaeology teams, with the help of local Libyans, have made enormous strides in uncovering artifacts, which are shedding more light on the Roman world and life in North Africa. At the present time, about 25% of the city has been excavated. Leptis was founded by the Phoenicians about 1000 BC as a trading center. Its location near the mouth of a harbor made the site a significant trading center which rose to its peak during the rule of the Romans in about 200 AD. The city was subjected to attacks from desert peoples and by the 700s was no longer viable as a city. Entrance to the city is made through a magnificent, gigantic 4-way triumphal arch, which was built to welcome the arrival of emperors and other great people. Streets in Leptis were laid out in north-south and east-west grids, and the main directional streets cross under the arch. The theatre at Leptis was the first built in Africa, but is smaller than the theatre at Sabratha, which is the largest in Africa. And close to the harbour is the amphitheatre, which was built about 56 AD and again enlarged in about 2000 AD. Most of the city's important buildings lie along the major streets, as they are in cities today. The city had public baths, a market, forum and basilica. Remains of houses and their tiled heating systems and extensive systems for supplying water have also been unearthed. In contrast to the greatness of Leptis, you have Ptolemais. It too was a coastal city and was the port for the city of Bath, and it too was found after uncovering layers and layers of sand. Although it is not certain, it is thought that the city was founded in the 6th or 7th century BC and then surrendered to Alexander the Great about 330. It became the capital of the province, but a major earthquake destroyed some of the city about 30 years later. Ptolemais was destroyed by the Vandals in the 400s and by the Arabs in the 600s. Ptolemais is much smaller than Leptis. Ptolemais only covers about 2.5 square kilometers. It also has narrow, right-angled streets, a theatre and huge underground water systems. Water which arrived through a channel from a source about 25 kilometers away was stored in 15 cisterns, the largest of which was about 6 meters deep. Many parts of homes have been excavated here, and there is evidence of wonderfully patterned mosaic floor and wall tiles. Only about 10% of this area, more windswept than Leptis, has been excavated. Again, British archaeologists have been instrumental in conducting much of the project, but recently there have been archaeologists from Poland and other countries who have begun work. We will save Apollonia, Sabratha and Cyrene for later lectures.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer.
Number 1. What is the lecture mainly about? Number 2. In the lecture, the professor describes the findings at Leptis Magna. Indicate whether each of the following is one which was mentioned. Click in the correct box for each phrase. Number 3. Why does the professor mention the Phoenicians? Number 4. According to the professor, what is the importance of the cisterns?
Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question.
Today I want to talk to you about wonderful archaeological sites which have recently been opened to tourists and which may eventually be a fertile ground for students interested in Roman, Greek and Byzantine architecture. The sites I am referring to are in Libya and are as large, if not larger than some locations in Italy and Greece.
Number 5. What does the professor mean when she says this?
Today I want to talk to you about wonderful archaeological sites.
Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question.
Only about 10% of this area, more windswept than Leptis, has been excavated. Again, British archaeologists have been instrumental in conducting much of the project, but recently there have been archaeologists from Poland and other countries who have begun work.
Number 6. Why does the professor say this?
Only about 10% of this area has been excavated.
Listen to part of a conversation between a prospective student and an admissions counselor. Admission counseling.
Hello, I am Jane Smith.
Hi, Jane. I understand you were thinking about applying for admission to our university.
Yes, your school has a wonderful education department and I am very interested in teaching.
Well, it is very good to be thinking about the future. Have you thought about what age-level students you are interested in teaching?
I have, but that is what poses somewhat of a problem for me. I really have enjoyed my high school English and literature classes, but I also really like working with little kids.
I certainly understand your dilemma, but it really needn't be a problem for you at this point.
Well, why is that? I thought I would need to know exactly what I wanted to study when I applied for college.
Well, some students do and others don't. Most students have a general idea before they enroll, but not all students stay on the educational path they started out on. What most students don't realize is that all first-year or freshman college students will be taking what we call core classes. Usually, that will be an English class, a math or science class, a history or political science course, a physical education course, and possibly an introductory or higher-level computer class. Most of the class levels will be determined from tests you will take during orientation week before classes begin. Oh yes, and if you are going to be in the School of Education, you will also be taking an educational psychology class, and the class would be the same for elementary and secondary education majors.
Well, that would certainly give me some more time to decide. You know, I have also wondered about extracurricular activities on campus.
Well, there are many. Have you participated in any activities during your high school years?
Oh, sure. I have been a cheerleader all 4 years, and I have belonged to student council and the history club. In the summers, I have been on a swim team, but I wasn't on a swim team at school because cheerleading conflicted with participating in athletics.
Well, that list sounds as though you have been busy. Have you participated in any cadet teaching or student teaching groups?
A little bit. We had a Teach for a Week program during our vocational studies program, and I got to go to a grade school and help out. I really liked it, and that is why I thought about teaching younger kids.
What kinds of things did you do at the elementary school when you helped out?
Oh, I played games with the kids when they were on the playground. I also read them stories, and I helped the teacher grade papers. Oh, and she let me do a bulletin board. They were going to have Grandparents' Day, and she let me find things to put on the board that I thought the little kids would like to talk about with their grandparents when they visited school.
Well, I think you have a real variety of extracurricular activities. And what is really nice is that we have a variety of activities on campus too. You would probably like the Helping Hands group. In this group, education students are assigned to one of the city's teachers for a semester. You would help this teacher in similar ways to how you helped the teacher during your vocational week. We also have clubs for about any interest you would have. We have art clubs, music clubs. We have student government also. I can't think of all the clubs, but I am going to give you some materials to read when you get home, and you will find out about all the clubs we have in the pamphlets I'm going to send with you.
Would it be possible to see the inside of a college dorm? I mean today, before I apply? It will help me when I hand in my housing application.
Of course, we don't want extra surprises for students when they arrive on campus to begin their first school year with us. I suggest you visit 2 of our dorms. One is the newest and the other is older. That way you can think about which housing unit you may want to apply for. Also, you may want to walk around campus to get an idea of what it would be like if you were enrolled. I am sorry there are no guided tours today, but as you know, it is vacation and students aren't on campus. But before you visit the dorms, do you have any other questions I can try to answer?
No, I don't think so. You have been very helpful. Thanks for taking time to talk with me.
I am certainly happy to have had the opportunity to meet you and talk with you. I hope you consider applying to our school. When you get home and read through the materials, please get back in touch with me if you have any questions. Now, here is a map of the campus, and I have circled the 2 dorms you will be visiting. I will call a person at each dorm to expect you, and he or she can show you around the building. You won't be able to go into any students' rooms, but there may be an empty room or 2 in each building you could look at. Have a good visit, and let us know if you have any other questions we can answer for you.
Thank you.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help you answer.
Number 7. Why does the student go to see the admissions counselor? Number 8. Why does the counselor ask the student if she has had any experience in a teaching club? Number 9. Why will the student visit a dormitory before she leaves the campus?
Listen again to part of the conversation, then answer the question.
When you get home and read through the materials, please get back in touch with me if you have any questions.
Number 10. Why does the counselor say this?
Please get back in touch with me if you have any questions.
Listen again to part of the conversation, then answer the question.
Also, you may want to walk around campus to get an idea of what it would be like if you were enrolled.
Number 11. What can be inferred about the counselor?